Calder pressed his palm against the kitchen counter, watching his daughter Iris push scrambled eggs around her plate. Dark circles shadowed her 11-year-old eyes, and she winced when the morning light hit her face through the window. "Another headache?" he asked, his voice thick with concern. Iris nodded, barely moving her head. The motion seemed to cause her pain. "It feels like someone's hammering inside my skull, like they're trying to break out. That's the fourth one this week." Calder glanced at his wife Delaney, who stood at the sink with her back to them, washing dishes with more force than necessary. "Maybe we should take her to see Dr. Peterson again." Delaney's shoulders stiffened. The dish in her hands clinked against the faucet. "She's fine, Calder. It's just hormones. Growing pains. Kids get headaches. For a whole year." Calder's voice sharpened. He'd been a construction foreman for 15 years, and he knew the difference between normal problems and serious ones. "This isn't normal, Delaney. Don't be dramatic." Delaney turned around, her expression flat and dismissive. Water dripped from her hands onto the tile floor. "She's anxious about school, about fitting in. I was the same way at her age." Calder studied his wife's face. Something felt wrong. Delaney had always been protective of Iris, maybe too protective. She'd hover over scraped knees and worry about every sniffle. But lately, she'd been dismissive about their daughter's pain. It was like she'd flipped a switch. "Mom, it really hurts," Iris whispered, pressing her palms against her temples. "Take some ibuprofen," Delaney said, already moving toward the door. She grabbed her purse from the counter. "I have to run errands." "What errands?" Calder asked. "Grocery store. Bank. You know, the things that keep this house running." Her tone was sharp, defensive. After Delaney left, Calder sat beside Iris at the kitchen table. The morning sun streamed through the window, highlighting the pain etched on his daughter's face. "How long have you been having these headaches, sweetheart?" "Since last spring. They got worse in the summer." Iris rubbed her temples in small circles. "Sometimes I hear weird sounds. Like echoes." "Echoes of what?" "I don't know. Voices maybe, but not real voices. Like they're coming from inside my head. And sometimes I remember things that I don't think happened." Calder's chest tightened. "What kind of things?" "Being in a white room. People talking about me like I wasn't there. Someone touching my head with cold things." She looked up at him with frightened eyes. "But I don't remember going anywhere like that. Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "I told Mom. She said it was normal, that I was making it up for attention." Iris's voice got smaller. "She said I was being dramatic." That afternoon, Calder sat in his truck outside the construction site, his hands shaking as he dialed Dr. Peterson's office. The receptionist's voice was friendly but unhelpful. "The earliest appointment we have is next Wednesday. This is about my daughter's headaches. They're getting worse. I understand your concern, Mr. Wynn, but she's been having them for a year. My wife keeps saying it's normal, but I don't think it is. Let me check with the doctor." The line went quiet for a moment. "Mr. Wynn? Dr. Peterson says if you're really concerned, you should take her to the emergency room." Calder closed his eyes. "Thank you." He made another call. "Mercy Hospital Imaging? I need to schedule an MRI for my daughter. Today, if possible." "Is this an emergency?" "I don't know, but I need to find out." Dr. Renata Bosley frowned at the computer screen, her fingers frozen over the keyboard. She'd been reviewing MRI scans for 15 years, working through everything from tumors to traumatic brain injuries. But she'd never seen anything like this. "Mr. Wynn, can you come look at this?" Calder stepped closer to the monitor, his work boots squeaking on the polished floor. The black and white image showed his daughter's brain in cross-section, but there was something else. A small, bright object embedded in the tissue, about the size of a grain of rice. "What am I looking at?" "That's a neural implant." Dr. Bosley's voice was carefully controlled, the way doctors spoke when they were trying not to alarm patients. "It's positioned in the hippocampus region. This is very sophisticated technology." "A what?" Calder's blood turned to ice. The room seemed to spin around him. "That's not possible." "I'm afraid it is. This device was surgically implanted. The insertion was done with minimally invasive techniques, probably under light sedation." Dr. Bosley turned to face him, her expression grave. "Mr. Wynn, did you consent to any experimental procedures for your daughter?" "No." The word came out as a whisper. "Never. What about your wife?" Calder stared at the screen. The small device glowed like a beacon in his daughter's brain, foreign and wrong. I don't know. This isn't a medical device I recognize. It looks like some kind of behavioral tracking and influence system. Experimental technology. Dr. Bosley's expression was grim. Mr. Wynn, I have to ask, are you aware of any research studies your daughter might have been enrolled in? No. Calder's hand shook. Print everything. Every image. Every report. I'll need to report this to Child Protective Services. This appears to be unauthorized medical experimentation on a minor. Not yet. Calder's voice was steel. Let me talk to my wife first. Mr. Wynn, if your daughter was subjected to unauthorized surgery, 24 hours. Give me 24 hours to get answers. Dr. Bosley hesitated. If you don't come back with an explanation, I'm making the call. I understand. Calder spread the MRI images across the kitchen table when Delaney walked in. The black and white photos covered the wooden surface like evidence at a crime scene. Her face went white when she saw them. What are these? You tell me. Calder watched her reaction carefully, studying every micro-expression. That's our daughter's brain, with a computer chip in it. Delaney's hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, how is that possible? That's what I'm asking you. I don't know. Delaney's voice pitched higher, almost shrill. This is crazy. Who would do this? We need to call the police. Calder studied his wife's face. Her shock looked real, but something felt rehearsed, like she was playing a role she'd practiced. Her eyes were wide, her mouth open in perfect surprise, but there was something calculated about it. The doctor said it was surgically implanted, under sedation. Calder leaned forward. When was the last time Iris had any medical procedures? I don't know. Maybe last year? She had that allergy testing. Delaney paced around the kitchen, her movements agitated. But that was just skin tests. Nothing surgical. Where? At the clinic in Boulder. The one Dr. Martinez recommended. What clinic? I don't remember the name. Some research facility. Delaney's voice cracked. Calder, I'm scared. What if someone did this to her without us knowing? Without us knowing? Or without me knowing? Delaney stopped pacing. What's that supposed to mean? You've been downplaying her headaches for months. Telling me it's normal. Telling her she's making it up. I was trying not to panic her, or you were trying not to panic me. You think I did this? Delaney's voice was incredulous. You think I let someone put a computer chip in our daughter's brain? I don't know what to think, but someone signed consent forms. Someone authorized this. Well, it wasn't me. That night, after Delaney went to bed, Calder sat in his home office. The house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and the tick of the grandfather clock in the hallway. He couldn't shake the feeling that his wife was hiding something. Her reaction had been too perfect, too theatrical. He opened her laptop. She'd left it unlocked, which was unusual for someone who usually guarded her privacy, like a state secret. The browser history showed recent searches for neural implant removal, experimental brain surgery, and child consent laws. Calder's hands trembled as he opened her email. Most of it was routine grocery lists, school communications, family updates. But in the deleted folder, he found something that made his stomach drop. Emails from Dr. Auden Strickland. Dozens of them, going back over 5 years. The subject lines made his blood run cold. Project Echo Phase 2 results, Iris's progress report, excellent compliance, payment schedule update, next transfer, behavioral modification parameters, adjusting protocol. Calder opened the most recent message with shaking hands. Delaney, the headaches are expected at this stage. Iris's brain is adapting to the new neural pathways. We're seeing excellent compliance scores. The memory integration is working better than we anticipated. Your daughter is part of something revolutionary. The data we're collecting will advance human consciousness by decades. Her sacrifice will benefit millions. Payment will be transferred as agreed. $40,000 for this phase. That brings your total compensation to $280,000. Don't lose your nerve now. We're so close to breakthrough. Auden Calder stared at the screen until the words blurred. His wife had sold their daughter to a researcher. For money. For almost $300,000. The next morning, Calder called his friend Geneva Bloom before the sun came up. They'd known each other since high school. and she'd become a tech expert after her stint in the Army's cyber warfare division. "I need your help," he said when she answered. "Something's wrong with Iris. I think Delaney did something terrible." "What kind of terrible?" "The kind that involves computer chips and research experiments." Geneva was quiet for a moment. "I'll be there in an hour." When Geneva arrived, she looked at the MRI images first, then at Delaney's emails. Her face hardened as she read. "This is sick," she said. "Your wife enrolled your daughter in some kind of brain experiment. Can you recover more deleted emails? Give me an hour. Maybe 2. While Geneva worked, Calder researched Dr. Auden Strickland. The man had an impressive resume, Stanford PhD, published researcher, former military consultant. But there were gaps in his employment history and several mentions of controversial research methods and ethical concerns. One article from a scientific journal mentioned that Strickland had been forced to resign from his previous position at UC Berkeley after questions arose about his research practices. The details were vague, but the pattern was clear. "Found something," Geneva said, looking up from her laptop. "Your wife's been communicating with this guy for over 5 years. Way before the research started. Look at this." She showed him a recovered email from 3 years ago. "Auden, I've been thinking about our conversation at the conference. You're right. Iris would be perfect for the project. She's intelligent, creative, and trusting. Calder would never suspect anything that I need to know the risks. And the compensation. I won't put her in danger for nothing that I miss working with you. I miss feeling important. I miss being seen as more than just a housewife and mother." "Delaney, there's more," Geneva said, pulling up bank records. "She's received $280,000 in payments over the past 2 years, all deposited in a secret account at a different bank." Calder's hands clenched into fists. "She forged my signature on consent forms, didn't she? Multiple times. Look at this." Geneva pulled up scanned documents. Medical consent, research participation agreements, even a liability waiver. Your signature on all of them. Those aren't my signatures. I know, but they're good forgeries. Close enough to fool most people who don't know your handwriting intimately." Calder stared at the forged documents. His wife had systematically betrayed him and their daughter. For money, for attention, for the thrill of feeling important again. "What else can you find about this Strickland guy?" "I'm already on it. His research facility is called Neurotech Solutions. They specialize in experimental brain-computer interfaces." Geneva's fingers flew across the keyboard. "But get this, they're not registered with the FDA. They're not authorized to conduct human trials. Then what they're doing is illegal. Completely. And dangerous. I'm finding references to other test subjects. Other children. How many? At least 6. Maybe more. The records are fragmented, but I can see payments to multiple families. Are the other kids okay?" Geneva's expression darkened. "I don't know, but I found an obituary for an 8-year-old girl named Sofia Ortega. She died 4 months ago from a brain hemorrhage. Her parents mentioned she'd been part of a cognitive enhancement study, run by Strickland. The study director isn't named, but the location matches. And look at this." Geneva showed him a death certificate. The cause of death is listed as complications from experimental neural device. Calder felt sick. They killed that little girl. It looks that way. And your daughter might be next if we don't stop this. That evening, Calder confronted the truth about his marriage. He'd always known Delaney was restless, but he'd thought it was normal. Everyone had regrets about roads not taken. He remembered when they'd first met in college. Delaney had been brilliant, ambitious, destined for great things. She'd been working on her PhD in neuroscience at Stanford, studying under Dr. Auden Strickland. She talked about changing the world, about unlocking the secrets of human consciousness. Then she'd gotten pregnant with Iris. The pregnancy hadn't been planned. Delaney had been devastated, talking about adoption, about not being ready for motherhood. But Calder had been over the moon. He'd convinced her they could make it work, that she could finish her degree after the baby was born, but life had other plans. Iris had been colicky, demanding constant attention. Delaney had struggled with postpartum depression, crying for hours while the baby screamed. Her research had suffered. She'd missed deadlines, failed to complete her dissertation, eventually dropping out of the program, that she'd married Calder instead, moved to Fort Collins, become a stay-at-home mom. He thought she was happy. He'd built them a good life, a nice house, financial security, a stable family. But apparently, it hadn't been enough. Calder found a journal in Delaney's nightstand. The leather cover was worn, the pages filled with her small, precise handwriting. The entries painted a picture of a woman who felt trapped, overlooked, intellectually starved. March 15th, another day of laundry and grocery shopping. Calder talks about his construction projects like they're the most important things in the world. He doesn't understand that I once had a mind, that I once mattered to people who weren't related to me. April 3rd saw an article about Auden's latest research. He's doing groundbreaking work on neural enhancement, memory modification, consciousness expansion. I could have been part of that. Instead, I'm wiping noses and packing lunches. May 22nd, Calder thinks with his hands. He builds things, physical things, but I could have built the future. I could have unlocked the secrets of human consciousness. I could have been somebody. June 10th reached out to Auden. He remembered me, said I always had the best research instincts in the program. We talked for hours. It felt like coming alive again. July 4th, Auden has a proposal, a chance to be part of something revolutionary. He needs test subjects. Children. Their brains are more adaptable, more malleable. Iris would be perfect. August 1st, I said yes. God help me, I said yes. But this is my chance to matter again, to be more than just Calder's wife and Iris's mother. September 15th, first payment came through. $50,000. I told Calder it was a consulting fee from my old work. He believed me. He trusts me completely. Sometimes I feel guilty about that. October 30th, Iris had the surgery today. She doesn't remember anything. Just thinks she had allergy testing. The sedation worked perfectly. She'll be part of something important now. We both will. December 5th, the headache started. Auden says it's normal. Growing pains. The device is integrating with her neural pathways. Soon we'll be able to influence her thoughts, her behavior, her memories. It's like being God. January 20th, Calder is getting suspicious about the headaches. I keep telling him it's normal, but he doesn't believe me. I need to be more convincing, more concerned. Play the worried mother. February 14th, the seizures are getting worse. Auden says it's part of the process. Her brain is fighting the integration, but will adapt. It has to. Too much depends on this working. Calder closed a journal. His wife hadn't just betrayed them for money. She betrayed them for the chance to feel important again, to be seen as brilliant, valuable, necessary. That she'd sold their daughter's mind to reclaim her own identity. Calder waited until Iris was at school before confronting Delaney. He'd laid out all the evidence on the kitchen table, the emails, the bank records, the journal entries, the forged consent forms. The documents covered the surface like pieces of a puzzle that formed a picture of betrayal. When Delaney walked in from her morning run, her face went through a series of changes. Shock, fear, calculation, and finally cold resignation. "How long have you known?" she asked, not even trying to deny it. "Does it matter?" Delaney pulled off her running shoes and sat down across from him. The mask was gone now. Her face was hard, her eyes distant. She looked like a stranger wearing his wife's face. "You don't understand," she said. "You never understood what I gave up for this family." "What you gave up?" Calder's voice was deadly quiet. "You put a computer chip in our daughter's brain. I made her part of something important, something that will change the world. You made her a lab rat. I made her special." Delaney's voice rose. "Do you know what that device can do? It can enhance memory, improve learning, regulate behavior. It can eliminate depression, anxiety, trauma. Iris could be the first of a new kind of human. She's 11 years old. She's the future." Delaney stood up, pacing around the kitchen. "You built this house with calluses. I was building the future with my mind. You were building it with our daughter's brain. Our daughter who was ordinary before. Average. Unremarkable. Now she's extraordinary." Calder stared at his wife. "She's in pain. Constant pain. Growing pains." Auden explained everything. The brain has to adapt to the new neural pathways. It's like learning to walk. It hurts at first, but then it becomes natural. "Auden." Calder's voice was like gravel. "Your lover." Delaney's face flushed. "That's not what this is about, isn't it? You miss feeling important. You miss being seen as more than just a housewife and mother. So you crawled back to your old professor and let him use our daughter for his experiments. You have no idea what you're talking about. I know you've been lying to me for 2 years. I know you've been taking money to let strangers experiment on our child. I know you've been more concerned about your reputation than her safety. I was thinking about her future, about what she could become. Calder stood up. I'm taking her to a surgeon. We're having that thing removed. No. Delaney stepped between him and the door. You can't. The research isn't complete. If you interfere now, everything we've worked for will be lost. We? There is no we. You did this alone. I did this for us. For our family. Do you know how much money we've made? How much more we could make? Blood money. Smart money. Investment money. Money that could secure Iris's future, send her to the best schools, give her opportunities we never had. You think I care about money? You should. You're a construction worker, Calder. You build things with your hands. But your hands will get old, your back will give out, and then what? This project could set us up for life. I'd rather be poor than sell my daughter. You're being dramatic. We're not selling her. We're giving her gifts, abilities, enhancements. If you go public with this, Delaney said, her voice turning cold, I'll take Iris and disappear. You'll never see her again. You'll what? I have lawyers, Calder. Good ones. I'll claim you're mentally unstable, that you're having delusions about computer chips and conspiracies. Who do you think a court will believe? The concerned mother with a PhD in neuroscience, or the paranoid construction worker with a high school education? Calder looked at his wife, really looked at her. The woman he'd loved for 15 years was gone. In her place stood a stranger who'd sold their daughter for money and recognition. You're right, he said quietly. I don't understand. I don't understand how a mother could do this to her own child. Because you're simple, Calder. You see the world in black and white, good and evil, right and wrong. But the world is more complex than that. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something small to gain something great. She's not something small. She's our daughter. She's my daughter. And she's part of something bigger than your small mind can comprehend. The next morning, Calder woke to screaming from down the hall. The sound cut through the quiet house like a knife. High and desperate and wronged, he ran to Iris's room and found her on the floor convulsing. Her small body jerked and twitched as if electricity was coursing through her. Blood streamed from her nose, bright red against her pale skin, and her eyes had rolled back in her head. Call 911, he shouted to Delaney, who stood frozen in the doorway. She's fine, Delaney said, her voice eerily calm. It's just a seizure. They'll stop. She's not fine. Calder knelt beside his daughter, trying to keep her from hitting her head on the hardwood floor. She's dying. The device is adjusting. Auden said there might be episodes like this. It's part of the integration process. Episodes. Calder stared at his wife in horror. You knew this would happen. It's temporary. Part of the neural adaptation. The brain has to learn to work with the device. How many episodes? How long has this been going on? A few weeks. Maybe a month. They're getting less frequent. Calder called 911 himself. The paramedics arrived within minutes, but by then Iris had stopped seizing. She lay unconscious on her bedroom floor, her breathing shallow and labored. How long has she been having seizures? The paramedic asked as they loaded her onto a stretcher. This is the first one, Delaney said quickly. It's not the first, Calder said. She's been having them for weeks. My wife just didn't tell me. At the hospital, Calder demanded to speak with a neurologist. Dr. Sarah Chan examined the MRI images and shook her head. This device is malfunctioning, she said. The electrical signals are causing seizures. If we don't remove it soon, it could cause permanent brain damage. Then remove it. It's not that simple. The device has been in place for months. It's integrated with her hippocampus, her memory centers. Surgery would be extremely risky. More risky than leaving it in. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. Dr. Chen looked at him seriously. Mr. Wynn, where did this device come from? This isn't FDA approved. This isn't even experimental technology one recognize. My wife enrolled her in some kind of research study. Without my knowledge. What kind of study? Neural enhancement. Behavioral modification. I don't know the details. This isn't a legitimate medical device. This is experimental technology, possibly illegal. Dr. Chin's expression was grim. I need to report this to the authorities. Can you remove it? I can try. But I need to warn you there's a significant chance of complications. Memory loss, cognitive impairment, even death. Calder looked at his daughter, pale and small in the hospital bed. Machines beeped around her, monitoring her vital signs. If we don't remove it, the seizures will get worse. The device will continue to malfunction. Eventually, it will be fatal. Then we don't have a choice. While Iris was in the hospital, Geneva continued her investigation. She called Calder with disturbing news. I found other cases, she said. At least 4 other children were enrolled in similar studies. All of them have neural implants. Where are they now? That's the problem. One died 6 months ago. Brain hemorrhage. The others disappeared. Their families moved away suddenly. No forwarding addresses. Calder's blood ran cold. Are you saying? I'm saying this is bigger than just your wife and her professor. This is organized. Professional. There's serious money behind this project. What kind of money? Private venture capital. Tech companies. Maybe even government funding. I found references to military applications in the research documents. Military applications? Neural compliance technology. Mind control, essentially. They're testing ways to influence thoughts, behavior, memory. They're using children because their brains are more adaptable. For what purpose? Unknown. But I found references to interrogation techniques. Prisoner management systems. Battlefield applications. Calder felt sick. My daughter is a test subject for military mind control technology. It looks that way. And the fact that other kids have died or disappeared suggests they're willing to eliminate evidence. We need to go to the police. With what? A few emails and bank records? These people have lawyers, Calder. Good ones. They'll claim it's legitimate research with proper consent. But I never consented. Prove it. Those forged signatures look real. And your wife will testify that you knew about the research. Calder closed his eyes. What do you suggest? We need more evidence. And we need to move fast. If they think you're getting too close to the truth, they might try to silence you. Or hurt Iris. That's what I'm afraid of. Calder returned home to find a process server waiting for him. The man handed him a thick envelope with official seals and legal stamps. Delaney was filing for full custody of Iris, claiming that Calder was mentally unstable and posed a danger to their daughter. The petition painted him as a paranoid conspiracy theorist who believed their daughter had been implanted with a computer chip. It cited his increasingly erratic behavior and unfounded accusations against medical professionals. She's good, Geneva said when Calder showed her the documents. She's making you look crazy while positioning herself as the concerned parent. How do I fight this? You need a lawyer, a good one, and you need character witnesses. I don't have money for a good lawyer. You have something better. You have the truth. The truth doesn't always win in court. No, but it's all we have. That night, Calder made a difficult decision. He called Delaney's father, Weldon Leake. The old man had been estranged from his daughter for years, but he'd always been fond of Iris. Weldon, I need your help. What's wrong? Calder explained everything: the implant, the research, the custody battle. Weldon listened in silence. That girl was always cold, he said finally. Even as a child. Brilliant but cold. Calculating. I used to wonder if she had a heart. Will you help me? What do you need? Testify for me. Help me get temporary guardianship of Iris. Against my own daughter, for your granddaughter. Weldon was quiet for a long moment. What did she do to that child? She sold her to researchers. Let them put a computer chip in her brain. For money. How much money? Almost $300,000. Jesus Christ. Weldon's voice was heavy. I'll do it. That child doesn't deserve what Delaney's done to her. The guardianship hearing was a nightmare. Delaney's lawyers painted Calder as unstable, paranoid, and potentially dangerous. They claimed he was suffering from delusions, that he was imagining conspiracies where none existed. But Weldon's testimony was devastating. My daughter is manipulative and cold, he said from the witness stand. She's always been selfish, always put her own needs first. If she's done what Mr. Wynn claims, it's because she saw some advantage in it. She doesn't act out of love. She acts out of self-interest. But surely you don't believe these wild claims about computer chips and mind control, Delaney's lawyer said. I believe my daughter is capable of selling her own child if the price was right, Weldon replied. She's done it before. What do you mean? When she was 16, she sold her younger brother's baseball card collection to buy herself a prom dress, worth over $1,000. When confronted, she claimed she was teaching him about the value of money. She's always been good at justifying her selfish actions. That's hardly the same thing. When she was in college, she plagiarized her roommate's research paper. Got the girl expelled when she tried to prove it was her work. Delaney claimed the girl was trying to steal her ideas. Your Honor, this is character assassination. When she was 25, she borrowed $5,000 from her grandmother for a medical emergency. Turned out she used it for a vacation in Europe. Never paid it back. The old woman died, thinking her granddaughter was a good person. The judge raised his hand for silence. Mr. Leake, do you believe your daughter is capable of what she's accused of? Your Honor, I believe my daughter is capable of anything if it benefits her. She's intelligent, charming, and completely without conscience. If she thought she could gain something by hurting her own child, she would do it without hesitation. The judge granted Calder temporary guardianship. Iris would remain with him while the custody case proceeded. With Iris safe, Calder decided to go public. He copied all the evidence to multiple drives and sent them to a journalist at the local newspaper. The story broke 3 days later. Local mother allegedly enrolled daughter in a legal brain experiment. The article detailed everything: the forged consent forms, the secret payments, the dangerous neural implant. It included quotes from Dr. Chun about the medical risks and from Weldon about Delaney's character. Within hours, the story had been picked up by national news outlets. Calder's phone rang constantly. Reporters, lawyers, other parents whose children might have been involved. One of those parents was Mateo Ortega. My daughter Sophia died 4 months ago, he said when he called. Brain hemorrhage. She was only 8 years old. I'm sorry. The doctor said it was a congenital defect. But now I'm wondering. She'd been part of a research study. Cognitive enhancement, they called it. I thought it was tutoring. Who ran the study? Dr. Auden Strickland. Calder felt a chill. Are you willing to go public with this? If it helps other kids, yes. If it stops this from happening to anyone else. Mateo's story was even more heartbreaking than Calder's. Sophia had been a bright, happy child who'd started having seizures after joining the tutoring program. The seizures had gotten worse over time, eventually leading to the brain hemorrhage that killed her. I should have known, Mateo said through tears. She kept saying she heard voices, that someone was talking to her in her head. I thought it was just imagination. It wasn't your fault. I let them kill my daughter. I signed the consent forms. I trusted them. They lied to you. They lied to all of us. How many other children are there? How many other families have been destroyed? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Mateo's emotional press conference was broadcast nationwide. The image of a grieving father holding his daughter's picture, describing how researchers had killed her with an experimental brain implant, was devastating. The media dubbed it the Echo Scandal. Protests formed outside Dr. Strickland's research facility. Parents demanded investigations. Politicians called for hearings. Delaney's name was everywhere. She was suspended from her job and placed under investigation for fraud, child endangerment, and participating in illegal human experimentation. Dr. Strickland vanished the day after Mateo's press conference. His research facility was shut down and federal investigators seized all records. But Geneva had been tracking him. She'd hacked into his personal files and found something that would seal Delaney's fate. You need to see this, she told Calder. But I warn you, it's hard to watch. She showed him a series of video files. They were recordings of Iris during testing sessions that had taken place while Calder was at work, sessions he'd never known about. In the videos, Iris was connected to monitoring equipment while technicians adjusted the neural implant. She was clearly in pain, crying and asking for her mother. And there was Delaney standing beside Dr. Strickland taking notes. The compliance response is excellent, Delaney's voice said on the recording. We can make her forget the pain within minutes. The memory integration is working perfectly, Strickland replied. She has no recollection of the previous sessions. What about the seizures? Expected side effects. Her brain is adapting to the neural modifications. The seizures will subside once the integration is complete. And if they don't, then we'll know this particular model isn't suitable for long-term use. We'll adjust the parameters for the next generation. You mean the next child? Exactly. This is just the beginning. Once we perfect the technology, we'll be able to influence anyone's thoughts, memories, behaviors. Imagine the applications. Military, corporate, political. Anyone with power will want this technology. Calder watched his wife discuss their daughter like she was a lab rat. In the background, Iris screamed as the technicians increased the electrical stimulation. "Turn it off," Calder said. "There's more." She talks about the other children. About Sophia. "Turn it off." She knew Sophia was dying. She knew the implant was killing her. But she didn't stop the experiment. I said, "Turn it off." Geneva stopped the video. "This is evidence, Calder. This will convict her. Send it to the district attorney. Send it to the FBI. Send it to everyone. Are you sure? Once this gets out, there's no going back. Everyone will know what she did." "Good. Everyone should know what she did." Iris's surgery was scheduled for the following week. Dr. Chun had assembled a team of specialists from across the country, but the risks were still significant. The neural implant had been in place for over a year, and its removal would require delicate microsurgery. "The device has created scar tissue around the hippocampus," Dr. Chun explained. "We'll have to cut through memory centers to reach it. She might lose some memories. Recent ones, mostly, but possibly some from before the implant. What kind of memories? It's hard to predict. Maybe the past year. Maybe more. She might not remember the headaches, the seizures, any of the trauma. But she also might not remember good things, birthdays, vacations, time with friends. What about her personality? Her core self? That should remain intact. The device primarily affects short-term memory formation and behavioral inhibition. Her fundamental personality, her creativity, her intelligence, those come from deeper brain structures. Calder sat beside Iris's bed. She was awake now, drawing in a sketchbook. She'd always loved to draw, especially birds. Her latest drawing showed a small bird trapped in a cage, with another bird flying free outside. "Daddy," she said without looking up, "I keep having dreams about machines in my head. Are they real? What do you think?" "I think they're real. I think that's why my head hurts all the time. Something's in there that doesn't belong. Do you want me to have the doctors take it out?" "Will it hurt?" "Yes, but not as much as leaving it in." Iris nodded. "I want to be free. Like this bird." She held up her drawing. "I want to fly away from the cage. The doctors say you might forget some things. Recent memories. Will I forget you?" "No. You'll always remember me. You'll always remember that I love you." "What about the bad things? The pain? The voices in my head? You might forget those too." "Good. I want to forget them. No matter what happens," Calder said, "you'll always be my daughter. The machines didn't make you who you are. Your heart, your spirit, your kindness, that's all you. And no one can take that away." "What about Mom? Is she going to jail?" "Probably." "Good. She hurt me. She let them hurt me. I'm sorry I didn't protect you better. You didn't know. She lied to you too. I should have known. I should have seen the signs. You see them now. That's what matters." The video evidence was devastating. Within days of its release, Delaney was arrested and charged with multiple crimes: fraud for the forged consent forms, reckless endangerment of a minor, participating in unregulated human experimentation, financial conspiracy, child abuse, accessory to wrongful death. In Sophia's case, Dr. Strickland was captured 3 days later at a private airport in New Mexico, attempting to board a plane to Ecuador with a fake passport. He was charged with the same crimes, plus illegal human experimentation and the wrongful death of Sophia Ortega. The day before Iris's surgery, Delaney was released on bail. She came to the hospital, begging to see her daughter. "Please," she said to Calder in the hallway. "I'm still her mother." "No," Calder said. "You stopped being her mother the day you let them put that thing in her head. I thought I was helping her. I thought I was making her better. You thought you were making yourself important. I love her. You love the idea of her. You love what she could do for your career. But you don't love her. If you loved her, you never would have done this. I made a mistake. I know that now. but I can't take it back. Please, let me see her. Let me apologize. She doesn't want to see you. How do you know? Because I asked her. She said she never wants to see you again. She's a child. She doesn't understand the complexities. She understands that you hurt her. She understands that you chose money over her safety. She understands that you're a stranger who looks like her mother. Delaney collapsed against the wall. I've lost everything. You threw everything away. For what? Money? Recognition? The chance to feel important again. I was trying to be more than just a housewife. You were a mother. That should have been enough. For you, maybe, but not for me. I needed more. Then you should have left. You should have gotten a divorce and started over. You shouldn't have sold our daughter to get what you wanted. I thought I could have both. A family and a career. A normal life and something extraordinary. You could have, but you chose the wrong path. You chose to sacrifice her for your ambition. I know, and I'll never forgive myself. Good, because I'll never forgive you either. What happens now? Now you go to prison, and Iris gets to live her life without you in it. She'll need her mother. She'll need a mother. But that's not you anymore. Iris's surgery took 6 hours. Calder paced the waiting room, surrounded by friends and family. Geneva stayed with him, along with Weldon and Mateo. Even some of the other parents whose children had been affected by the research came to show support. When Dr. Chen finally emerged, she looked exhausted but pleased. We got out, she said. The device is gone. No complications, no bleeding. She's going to be fine. What about her memories? Too soon to tell, but she's responding well. She knew her name, knew where she was, recognized you. That's a very good sign. When can I see her? She's in recovery now. Give her another hour or two. When Iris woke up, the first thing she asked for was her sketchbook. She drew another bird, this one flying free, no cage in sight. My head feels different, she said. Quiet, like the echoes stop. How do you feel? Free, like I can think my own thoughts again. Do you remember the surgery? I remember going to sleep. And I remember you telling me you loved me. She looked up at him. Did they get the machine out? Yes. It's gone. Good. I hated it. It made me think things I didn't want to think. Made me feel things I didn't want to feel. What kind of things? Like I should trust people I shouldn't trust. Like I should be happy when I wasn't. Like I should forgive people who hurt me. You don't have to forgive anyone. I know. That's my choice now. The legal proceedings moved quickly. Dr. Strickland, facing life in prison, agreed to testify against Delaney in exchange for a reduced sentence. His testimony was damning that he described how Delaney had approached him with the idea of using Iris as a test subject. How she'd been enthusiastic about the research, even suggesting ways to improve the neural compliance technology. She was a full partner in this project, he said from the witness stand. She knew the risks. She knew other children had been hurt, but she was determined to prove that the technology could work. Why? She wanted to be lead researcher on the next phase. She wanted her name on the patents. She wanted to be famous. Did she express any concern for her daughter's safety? Initially, yes. But as the project progressed, she became more focused on the results. She said Iris was tough, that she could handle the discomfort. What about when the seizures started? She was concerned about the project timeline. She worried that if we stopped the experiment, we'd lose valuable data. Did she ever suggest stopping the experiment to protect her daughter? No. She suggested increasing the stimulation to accelerate the integration process. Delaney's trial was a media circus. The prosecution presented overwhelming evidence of her guilt, including the videos of her watching Iris suffer during testing sessions. Her defense team tried to claim she'd been manipulated by Dr. Strickland, that she'd been seduced by his promises of scientific breakthrough. But the jury saw through the lies that on the final day of testimony, Delaney took the stand herself. She was polished, articulate, and completely unconvincing. I believed we were helping children, she said. I believed we were advancing human knowledge. Even when your daughter was screaming in pain, the prosecutor asked. The pain was temporary. The benefits would have been permanent. What benefits? Enhanced memory, improved learning, better emotional regulation. She could have been extraordinary. She was already extraordinary. She was your daughter. She was ordinary, average. The device would have made her special. Special or profitable, both. There's nothing wrong with profiting from innovation, even when that innovation involves torturing children. We weren't torturing anyone. We were advancing science. That answer sealed her fate. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours before returning a guilty verdict on all charges. The judge sentenced Delaney to 12 years in prison with no possibility of parole. She would also be required to pay restitution to all the families affected by the research. She was led away in handcuffs. Delaney looked back at Calder one last time. "I'm sorry," she mouthed. Calder didn't respond. He felt nothing for her now, no anger, no hatred, no sadness. Just emptiness where his love for her used to be. 6 months later, Calder and Iris were in their backyard, putting the finishing touches on a large cedar birdhouse. They'd started the project before everything happened, but it had sat unfinished during the chaos of the trial and recovery. "Hand me that screw," Calder said, balancing on the ladder. Iris passed him the hardware, then stepped back to admire their work. "It's beautiful. Think the birds will like it. They better. We worked hard on it." They hung the birdhouse from the old oak tree, then sat on the porch to watch for visitors. The afternoon sun was warm, and the yard was peaceful. Within minutes, a pair of cardinals landed nearby, investigating their new home. "Dad," Iris said, "I remember things that I don't think I lived. Like dreams, but they feel real." "What kind of things?" "Scary things. Being in a room with machines. People talking about me like I wasn't there. A woman who looked like Mom, but wasn't really her. Those might be memories from the research. Your brain is healing. Sometimes old memories surface. It's weird. I remember being told to think certain thoughts. Like someone was controlling my mind. That's what they were trying to do. But they failed. Your mind is your own. I know. I can feel the difference now. It's like I was living underwater before, and now I can breathe." They sat in comfortable silence, watching the cardinals explore the birdhouse. The wind was gentle, rustling the leaves, but not disturbing the birds. With the money from the court settlement, Calder had started a foundation called EchoWatch. It monitored research projects involving children and helped families who'd been hurt by illegal experiments. "Geneva called this morning," Calder said. "We got approval for the awareness campaign." "What's that?" "Advertisements to teach parents about the warning signs of illegal research. Hotlines for families who think their children might be in danger." "Will it help?" "I hope so. We can't save everyone, but we can save some." "What about the other kids?" "The ones who disappeared. We're still looking. Geneva thinks she's found leads on 3 families. They're scared, but they're starting to trust us." "I'm glad you're helping them. I'm glad you're helping me. You're the best spokesperson we have. Because I survived. Because you're brave. Because you're willing to tell your story so other kids don't have to live through what you did." The cardinals had decided the birdhouse was suitable. They began carrying twigs and grass inside, building their nest. Soon there would be babies, a new generation of birds to fill the yard with song. "It's funny," Iris said. "I used to dream about being in a cage. Now I dream about flying. You are flying. Every day, you're flying a little higher." "Yeah, and no one can clip my wings anymore." "What do you want to be when you grow up?" "I want to help kids like me. Maybe be a doctor or a lawyer. Someone who protects children." "You'd be good at that. I know what it feels like to be helpless. To have adults make decisions about your body without asking you. I never want another kid to feel that way." Calder put his arm around his daughter's shoulders. They watched the birds work, building their home in the house he and Iris had made together. The wind was quiet now, and for the first time in months, Calder's heart was still. "Dad." "Yeah. Do you think Mom will ever get out of prison?" "Eventually, but not for a long time." "Do you think she'll try to contact me?" "She might, but you don't have to respond. You don't owe her anything." "I know, but sometimes I wonder if she's sorry. Really sorry. Does it matter? I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to hate her forever." "You don't have to hate her, but you don't have to forgive her either. You can just let her go, like releasing a bird from a cage." "Exactly. You can open the door and let her fly away. What she does after that is up to her." "I think I'd like that. To just let her go. Then that's what we'll do." They sat in comfortable silence as the sun began to set. The cardinals had finished their nest and were settling in for the night. Tomorrow, they would begin the next phase of their lives, laying eggs, raising young, continuing the cycle of life. The echo in her head was gone. The nightmare was over. They were free.